Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Anime Night in the Dojo. Today's featured show, Campfire Cooking in Another World with My Absurd Skill, Season 2.
Yep, Campfire Cooking, Season 2, Episode 12. Welcome back to the dojo. I'm Ryu, that's Age. We're back for more Anime Night in the Dojo, and we will be wrapping up Campfire Cooking today because, unlike Gachi Kuda and Spy Family, the dub finished early enough in December or something. So, you know, just stuff that we've been talking about. We're waiting on dubs, regardless of the situation. We weren't going to start the next set of shows without waiting for dubs, so having to wait for Spy Family and Gachi Kuda to wrap up, not that big of a deal. MHA was only 11. We had the extra long episode last week for the series wrap-up thing, and then we have the thing coming out in May for that final episode of MHA's epilogue. But yeah, at this point, we're waiting on Fire Force's dub. Came out immediately, but you know, we're gonna wait. We gotta wait on Frieren, MF Ghost, and Jujutsu Kaisen. So, you know, by the time we finish Spy Family, hopefully, and Gachi Kuda next week, yeah. And Spy Family is 13, so we're not even finishing Spy Family next week unless both dubs come out, and we'll do like a like, you know, Spy Family Friday, Saturday kind of situation. But that's it's probably not going to happen. So Spy Family is going to probably be on its own like week, and you know, we're waiting on stuff. So it's really, the schedule is kind of messed up, but not really. So it could be worse. So we'd be waiting either way. So we have a couple other things that we wanted to put out anyway, like the Has Been wrap up and then the Year in Review thing, and then we got to put out our new intro video for how we're going to be doing stuff going forward with the new channel and all that stuff that we didn't get to do after all the hoopla with my first channel last year, and then just trying to pick up the pieces for a couple months there at the end of the year, and then me having to deal with rain again. So it was a hell of a last, you know, couple months of the year with all that going on. But yeah, so we have our plan. We know what we're doing, so we're waiting on dubs regardless, and we wouldn't start the other set of 4 shows until there was a dub for all 4 of them. So, you know, either way, that's for Campfire Cooking. It's been great. I've enjoyed everything about it. I really can't say anything bad about this series, period. It's hitting everything that a show like this needs to hit. And it has a ton of source material, so I assume we'll be getting Season 3 at some point, because this was one of the most well-received shows of the last season and last year in general.
Yeah.
So it's very good. Just period. It's a fun show. It does everything that it needs to for fantasy. The characters are solid. Makota's a likable main character. They have the god angle, all that kind of stuff. You know,
we haven't like actually looked to clarify specifically if this is supposed to be an adaptation of the manga or the original webcomic.
Right.
So it might be delayed based on if it is trying to just stick to the manga stuff.
Yeah.
But
there's a ton of source material that's being adapted from the original thing, which is a lot of stuff from the webcomic. So.
Yeah, like it just depends, really. Like there might be a delay if it is based off the manga, but if they're just going off of the actual source material, there's still plenty for them to get to.
Right. So looking forward to that. This was definitely a very good find, because there's only so much stuff you can watch with all this media that's out there, and that's probably something we'll talk about in one of our wrap up and year interview things. Is that kind of thing? Is there's so much stuff out there, man. Again, you have to pick and choose. You know what I mean? So I'm glad we found this series, and I just kind of derped into it one night, and I was like, we need to do this. So we'll talk about it more at the end of this episode, but for now, it'll be interesting to see what they do with this, the last episode here at the sea, you know, whether they do the dungeon thing or what have you, whatever happens here. I'm sure it'll be fine. So that being said, people on Patreon will see you on the other side of the edit for the timer reaction, and people on YouTube on the other side of the edit for the discussion and review. And if you're looking for the opposite of whatever you're watching, the links are where they need to be. So push buttons and find what you want to watch. So we're going to push some buttons and get going. So here goes something. Well, alrighty then, there you guys have it, wrapping up Campfire Cooking for this season with some more classic seafood stuff. That was fun, all that kind of stuff. I will say that Makoto does love his seasonings and toppings. He could have absolutely stopped like right here after flipping it, and it would have been probably pretty damn good. that was kind of like, you can definitely over-season stuff. Not saying that he did. You can absolutely put as much as he did on there with the sauce and the mayonnaise and stuff like that in it. It blends together well. It's not like he did something like sacrilegious or something that wouldn't turn out well. Like, especially when you have a shot like this, it looks like a lot, but you're up in its face. You know what I mean? It really wasn't that much. You know what I mean? So, either way, more of the classic cooking stuff, that was fine. We got shaved ice, that kind of thing. Sui and Dora wanting to learn how to flip the thing. That was fun character development for this kind of thing. You gotta appreciate stuff like that. Them, consistently being interested in just like doing different things. You know what I mean? With like Sui being the blacksmith and like helping Makoto with the cooking. That's been like him teaching a kid, throughout the series so far. That's been a good thing for their character development and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Since Dora-chan has pseudo opposable thumbs, he can help with stuff, unlike Fel, who can just pretty much hunt. You know what I mean? You're not going to have Fel over here mixing a bowl or something.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. But all the character development has been solid for this. We had another one of the classic retroactive quest situations. Well, we had to know that was coming. So unsurprising, but that was handled well. He got the message from Lambert. Again, I don't know if just everybody wants to join the Attack on Titan Scouts or whatever, but the last couple,
the Survey Corps.
Yeah, the but it's just like, is everybody just trying to join the Scouts these days? Because everybody that we've seen recently that gets a cape or a cloak or something, it looks exactly like the Scout's cloak, and it's just like, okay. I mean, maybe we're paying homage, like we did the Rimuru homage and stuff like that, but it's just kind of funny. It's like, oh man, we got to make the Scouts joke again. But
to be fair, the actual cloak is probably not going to look like this, because it's supposed to be like a wyvern scale cloak.
Yeah. So that's going to be more serious business. But again, it's nice to get back with Lambert and stuff like that. It might have bypassed some people because it was just kind of like part of the message or whatever here. But he does mention here that they impose it was so popular. The shampoo and cosmetics and stuff were so popular that they had to impose a 3-thing rule. Like, you can't buy more than 3.
Yeah.
So everybody has a shot. You know what I mean? So that's pretty damn hilarious. You gotta appreciate that kind of thing. But again, his wife will hunt Makoto down if he does not come back with more stuff. That's just going to be one of those like things that comes in the mail. It's like, she has threatened to come after you, man. Where are you?
Yeah, once again, like we were kind of speculating earlier on, that's probably going to end up turning into like his hub town, where he like actually has his home and stuff like that.
Yeah, Carolina. Yeah, because it seems like the most like centralized town for the country that they traveled to, for the most part. It was like the midway point for just like everything. So
it was like northern central.
Yeah.
So like, it wasn't like dead center of the continent or anything. It was still more northern, but it was still very centralized to the northern side of the continent.
Yep. And that's where all like the Mithril Mine stuff went on, and they're not super far from Dolan comparatively if they have to deal with Elrond and, like another potential dragon situation after the red one. You know what I mean? Because it's going to keep happening.
Yeah, it's not a major trip to get to Dolan from there. He has the whole thing of the Mithril Mine there. He already has inns with the royal family because of the Mithril Mine thing. Plus, then he's got his deals with Lambert.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see them kind of like backtrack and like establish just like where they're going to be like rolling around, just like doing random quests and stuff like that. Especially they snuck it in again. Just like Elrond snuck in this like, nope, here's your A rank card. F you. They just kind of snuck in like, listen, man, I don't think you understand, but it's like an insult to the Adventurers Guild if you're not S rank. So here you go. like Marx was saying, it's like, who do you think we are, man? We can't just do this. We have some standards. We're the Adventurers Guild. Yeah. It's what we do. Well, we can't just have this, happening.
Yeah, just like it looks like they're playing favoritisms if they like have someone freaking just shoot up the ranks without anything to show for it, it's also looks just as bad if it seems like they're keeping someone down because they're off doing all of these big time things, but they haven't ranked them up.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where it's just like, listen, we have some integrity over here, so
if you're going to keep running around doing S rank things, we need to give you the S rank title.
Yeah. It's like, I didn't do anything. Well, it doesn't matter. You are doing something. You have the contracts and you're keeping your familiars happy and healthy, and that's what makes you S rank, because you're, a beast tamer basically at this point, or just whatever. So it's just, again, it would be a bad look if they didn't rank him up. So, like Age said, you keep doing S rank stuff, you have zero choice. It's just how it is. And maybe the adventures from the other world that came with him are probably just B rank at this point. Who knows? We haven't
got anything on them yet, but I do suspect that'll probably be a joke at some point or another of like that they're still like B or C rank or something like that when he finally runs into them.
Yeah, they only had that little like vignette thing after like the second course thing that they've done. They had them like in one of the things in season 1 where they were just like kind of like out camping with their like average rations, and we're like, I wonder whatever happened to that guy. Hopefully he didn't go get himself killed or something. But
yeah, they just had like basic dried meat rations.
Yeah. So either way, another solid season of this. Again, zero gripes. Everything was there. There were no animation problems. The voice acting was good. The soundtrack, I think, underrated. Very good soundtrack. Mixed it up, had its classics, had the like Makota's theme when he's doing stuff. You know what I mean? They mixed it up when they went to different towns. Like they had a more like nautical theme when they got here. So
far the only two gripes with the show really are just the boats thing, and then not even with the show, but the Crunchyroll subtitles.
Yep. Those were the two gripes, and that has nothing to do with the show's quality or anything else other than like, how are they fishing with those boats? I don't care how calm your sea is. Where are you putting your stuff? Does everybody have a freaking item box? Or maybe they have like a magic bag? Okay, whatever. But, those boats still irk me. I don't care if you have like a magic bag or what an item box skill or whatever. Have like a flute at least or something. You know what I mean? Like a trawler? I don't know. Like an actual fishing boat?
Yeah, I mean, they had like each of the boats had about a normal fishing boat's crew of like 6 or 7 people, but usually 6 or 7 people to like a boat that's at least 4 or 5 times the size of that, which is still small for a ship, but fucking way bigger than just a freaking little rowboat.
Right. So again, not at all a big deal in the slightest, but just kind of like a curiosity of like, has the author never seen a fishing boat? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, and as far as like the magic bags and item box skill goes, we know item box is very rare.
Yep.
The magic bags are more common, though typically only like small or tiny or whatever. The lower the medium sized bags are the more common ones. Like medium, from what Elron was saying, is like not ultra rare, but it's definitely a rarer drop.
Right.
That most of the times you just get empty small bags.
Yeah. But a couple other things worth mentioning, like he got all this for 3 copper. Now, given the guy here was one of the like fishermen and stuff, and mentioned like we wouldn't have got this without you clearing out the big monsters and stuff like that. But that is an insanely good deal for the amount of food they got, obviously, even with that discount.
Yeah.
And just the sheer amount of stuff that they were able to free up for the fishermen. You know what I mean? The impact he had on the town. Did you guys see like that's probably going to be the final still that I use? Is their all the swag they got was hilarious. Like just the sheer amount of like free stuff they got. Like, yeah, there it is. Look at that. It's like, yeah, we wanted to buy stuff, but they weren't having it because they would have had like nothing if it wasn't for us. So
yeah, the only reason you weren't even allowed to hold the market today was because the Kraken was dealt with.
Yep. So here's just a bunch of free stuff for the conquering heroes.
Another random thing that came from this was that We did not, in fact, find a Leviathan, but according to Marx, Leviathans are supposed to be like one of the strongest creatures in the entire ocean.
Right. Yeah, and that was something that Elrond did mention, like, hey, if you come across a Leviathan, I want it. But I'm pretty sure he'll be good with the red dragon, because, you know, even if it's a younger red dragon, it's still a big deal, and he'll probably freak out. So...
yeah, he'll freak out over just the idea of any dragon.
Yeah. So I'm sure it'll be totally fine. It'll be interesting to see if we get that, assuming there's a season 3, which I can't imagine there won't be based on everything we talked about earlier. But yeah, just some of the little things like the market and stuff like that. Like the other thing that kind of came up with this woman here was apparently raw fish is not on the menu here. So
yeah, apparently they have major parasite issues when it comes to fish here, which is a problem in the real world too, but not that big of a problem. It depends on like what the area you're going to.
Right.
Like oysters in particular are notorious for like you have to be very careful about how they're kept and prepared. Like you really only want to eat farmed raw oysters, because any sort of like wild raw oysters will always have parasites or diseases in them and stuff like that.
Right. And it was kind of like an offhanded thing that Makoto mentioned, but once again, it's kind of like if anybody ever mentions lemon and stuff with anything raw, the citric acid in lemon will cook meat or just anything, really. So you can get away with cooking something with lemon because citric acid will do that. It doesn't have to be lemon. It has to be anything with citric acid. It just has to be acidic enough, and it'll take care of things like parasites and bacteria and stuff like that because, you know, citric acid. I don't know how else I can put that. Look up citric acid and see what it does. So, yeah, it's just one of those things where maybe in this case the parasites are so ridiculous that, like, citric acid equivalent of this world isn't good enough to handle it. You have to, like, by flame cook it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it could be a thing of the parasites are too hardy. It could also just be a thing of she doesn't even know what a lemon is, because once again, we've had that whole thing of, like, while they have a lot of similar foods, it's not the same foods directly, and they don't necessarily know of all of the same foods. Like, I can't remember what food it was. I think it was like tomatoes or something like that. It was one of the ones that he specifically called out having to get from the grocer because, well, he found like potatoes and a bunch of other stuff equivalent in this world. He couldn't find it.
Yeah. I think it was carrots.
They don't have everything. No, it wasn't carrots, because I specifically called out the whole like weird inconsistency of their carrots being orange, when carrots being orange is a artificial thing.
Right. So yeah, I don't remember what it was, but either way, just some of the little things there were interesting. But you know, more good cooking stuff. We got the shaved ice thing, another classic summertime thing. You know, with the fireworks there at the end, so that was cool. You know, just hitting all the like the tropey, you know, classics, which is always fun. That kind of thing.
They did not bring up the whole thing of the fact that shaved ice flavorings are actually all the same flavor, just different colors.
Yeah. But that's okay. We don't talk about that. Nobody has to know. You know? But either way, it sets up a pretty interesting next bit of the story, stuff like that. So as long as they keep doing what they're doing, it's going to be fine. Because once again, our two gripes with the series have nothing to do with gripes on the series. So it was Crunchyroll, which was hilarious. That was, you know, it's probably fixed by now. If I go back to the episode, it might be fixed. So we caught a hilarious one-off thing, which was damn funny. So it's documented and saved forever. And so that was just Crunchyroll. And then, you know, like the boat thing, which, again, obviously not a big deal or detriment to the show in the slightest. Just kind of like a weird curiosity.
There could very well
like, okay, whatever.
There could very well be an in-universe explanation. We just didn't get it in the anime.
Right.
But it's still just kind of a thing that stands out as like, this shouldn't work.
Right. So either way, again, a great series for what it is. It has a little something for everybody, from the slice of life genre to it has, action and adventure, questing, monster hunts, comedy. You know what I mean? If you like familiars and stuff like that, it's got the face, it's got the reaction. People talked about how Bakugo's voice actor had to do a lot of screaming in the last episode, and like a lot of over the top yelling and emoting in the last season of MHA. I think Makota's got him beat. He did a lot of screaming this season.
I mean, to be fair, we already talked about the fact that like freaking All for One even had him beat, but
yeah. So it's just one of those things. But either way, again, no real complaints. A great show, and I'd highly recommend it for anybody who likes fantasy. Period. Slice of life. Period. Cooking at all. All of Makota's cooking stuff. There was literally nothing incorrect about what he did, except they were fantasy materials as opposed to what we have.
Yeah,
we work exactly the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's literally like clearly the main thing for the author actually wanted was basically just to show off their obsession with cooking, but wanted to give it a fantasy setting to appeal to more people than just simply doing cooking lessons, basically.
Right, because let's be real, Food Wars had that covered. I don't think you could do another Food Wars. You know what I mean? I don't think you could do it. You'd have to do something like this. You know what I mean? Something to this effect. And it worked very well. And obviously, I believe the author is a food nerd. If they're not a food nerd, I'd be surprised. Because there was a lot of... it was just the fantasy material, but everything else was, like orc meat. It was pork, okay? The bloody hornbills, beef, okay? Any of the, the spiders, pretty much crab. Any of the seafood, same stuff for the most part. All the vegetables and stuff like that. Makoto still got to use his, ability to get certain things from the other world as well, like rice and stuff like that. So all those cooking methods, all those techniques that he talked about throughout these first 2 seasons, 100% accurate. You could go make what he made. You know what I mean? It's no different than you could go buy like the Persona cookbook, that kind of thing. You can make all that stuff. Yeah, no problem.
That actually does bring up, that is one of the foods that he did also make note of having to get from the grocer is rice.
Yep, because that's apparently something that they don't do here, which not surprising. There's a lot of fantasy where they're just like, what the heck is rice? What are you talking about?
Yeah, rice either doesn't exist in this world or it's not something that they have figured out how to cultivate yet, which as far as like vegetables and stuff go, it's one of the most like specialized kind of farming you have to do.
Right.
Like a lot of other vegetables, basically you throw them into a 4 rotation field, you're good. Forget rice, you have to go through paddies and water irrigation and all sorts of extra steps for.
Yep. So either way, it will be interesting to see if he gets another online grocery upgrade at some point. The gods already talked about it. He'll get his next tenant at level 40. He'll get that eventually. I mean, he got 7 levels being the weed guy, herbicide guy, not smoking weed, but just spraying down some plants. 7 levels, no problem. It was nothing.
Yeah, we've also already seen the whole thing of his skills orienting themselves towards cooking, so we'll see if he actually gets any legit cooking skills themselves at some point.
Right. So I will say it is nice that we got the gods one more time before the end of the season. They don't have to be in every episode. It was kind of a nice break from them. Obviously, they're not bad characters by any stretch of the imagination, but they don't have to be in every episode, and it was kind of a nice just standard break from this cast and that kind of thing. And that's just the gimmick. He keeps forgetting about them because of obvious reasons. You know what I mean? And now he has this problem. He has the problem of Hephaestus and the god of war, Bahagan, are now banking. They're basically starting a piggy bank so they can get better alcohol. And now Ruka is just no, I want your cooking now.
Yeah, no, now they've upped the difficulty of, instead of just buying pre-made things. Now he's needing to actually cook for them.
Yep. You guys see that? He tried. It's like, listen, I can give you the ingredients, but you have to cook it. It's like, no, I want your food. That's a pretty standard fare for just anything. You know what I mean? Like, if anybody's had this, where they ask you specifically for something, cooking, whatever it is you do, it doesn't matter. Whatever your craft is, whatever you do, if they're asking for you specifically, if they ask you to do it, they're just not asking you to do it to do it. They're asking it because they want you. They want your thing, your cake, your motorcycle, your whatever it is. You know what I mean? They want it because it's you. Not because it's a motorcycle, not because it's a cake, not because it's, fish fry, whatever. They want it because it's your fish fry, your motorcycle, your whatever it is. You know what I mean? So it's always a compliment when somebody does that. They want it because it's you, not because of the thing. They want it because of you. So
yeah, from everything we've seen of the gods, Rushelka is by far like the one that seems like actually the most like attached to Bakota himself.
Yeah.
Whereas the rest of them are more just interested in the things that he can give them.
Right.
They're basically just there for the offerings, whereas Rushelka very much like actually seems interested in him.
Right.
Which, from what we've seen of them, like she is by far the most reserved, and there's the whole thing of like she hasn't even given Immortal her blessing in 100-some years.
Right.
So, like, her taking any sort of interest in Immortal is unusual.
Right. And she had arguably some of the more hilarious comedy bits of the season, like holding Ninrir back from falling into the viewing pond, I guess you call that. 3 times. They hit the rule of 3. 3 different angles. She was holding Ninrir back from falling in. And then they totally ate it in classic fashion. So, again, another solid season. I enjoyed everything about it. No notes. Highly recommended the show for all the things that we talked about. So, when and if there's a season 3, we'll be doing it. So, bravo. Well done. Once again, Mappa nailed it. Are we surprised by this? Hopefully they give him enough time for Jujutsu Kaisen season 3. We all saw what happened last time.
Like I said, from everything I've heard, the first episode at least is quite well done. From the animation standpoint and stuff like that. But we'll have to see once we get there.
Right. And we'll talk a little bit more about this kind of like during our year wrap-up thing that we're going to do. But I'll just say this. Give the animators and the studios time to cook, for the love of God. It's always going to be worth the wait. Especially for the higher-end studios like Mappa and, JC staff, all those other places. The One Punch Man crew getting a bad rap. They weren't working on season 3 for 7 years. They were working on it for like 6 months. That's why it came out the way it did. And we're going to have a lot to say, or a reasonable amount to say about that, because we've watched like the first 6 episodes of the dub as it's been releasing. And I will say this here right now. Season 3, I see the problems. For what it is, it hasn't been as bad as a lot of people are like rah making it out to be. Yes, I see the problems. The Garo PNG coming down the grass slope. I just want that to be a thing now. I'm going to have a whole rant about that. I just want that to be a gag now. Like the ugly Sonic thing. That just needs to be something that happens now. That was hilarious. You know what I mean? I would have ripped on it had I not known it was coming. I more laughed at that than was angry at it.
Yeah.
So, either way, we'll have that in our year-end wrap-up from 2025. A bunch of stuff to talk about. But as for Campfire Cooking, again, one of my favorite shows of the past couple years. It was fantastically done, fantastically handled, and hopefully we get a couple more seasons, because everything about it's great. So, no notes, just good job. Bravo. Did everything I needed to. So, yeah. Again, for the next set of shows, we're waiting on dubs, so the schedule is going to be probably a little wonky for a couple weeks, a little sporadic, but once all the dubs come out for Fire Force has already started. We're waiting on Frieren, MF Ghost, and the Jujutsu Kaisen dubs, and then we'll all start them once they've all begun, so we don't have to stagger it or anything like that. So, that's it for Campfire Cooking. We'll let Victoria roll the stills of the season, as is tradition. And we'll be back with the new schedule at some point, but for now we'll be wrapping up Gachikuda and Spy Family while we wait for the other stuff, and then we'll have the like year in review stuff and a couple other things that we can slot in the next couple weeks while we wait for dubs. So yeah, that's all I got for this one. You got anything else, Age?
No, we've already talked about this a lot.
Alrighty then. Well then, ladies and gentlemen, people of YouTube, beyond whoever you're watching, as always, we appreciate you stopping by and hanging with us here in the dojo from our anime night in the dojo. And this was Campfire Cooking, Season 2, Episode 12. And we'll be back with more Campfire Cooking at some point in the future if we get another season. So have a good morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is for you. Have a good one. See you next time.
Hey everyone, Victoria here. If you enjoyed the video, please consider pushing those like and subscribe buttons. Your support is greatly appreciated. Thanks again for your time, and we hope to see you again in the future.